With a working knowledge of jazzercise and a gallon of tapioca pudding, Alvin had managed to create a 5-foot buffer zone around his cubicle.
Tom wanted out, but the lack of doors or any other similar holes in the wall made his recent architectural project all the more bittersweet.
Biff looked at his list of life goals, grabbed a pen, and crossed out all the entries that were unrelated to his acquiring a moat.
The story of this particular hyperactive dog is a long and epic one, but sadly, it has to end here. Yes! Infallibility.
Hal's daydream ended with a real puzzler. Do garbage men put on deodorant in the morning?
Here and there, far and wide, Tempest placed his water bags, filled with hope for the less fortunate people to stumble upon. It's more of a feel-good story, that one. It's not a laughy thing.
It only took a second on the trampoline for Steph to see that he was carrying far too many Fabergé eggs.
Vince studied at home and was his own teacher, making it twice as hard to get through report card day.
Clayton awoke with a violent shudder and the painful realization that the death of the coupon was finally here. It's funny because it's true.
A big music lover, Keft always checked to see if his eggs had special messages when cooked backwards.
Yes. Good morning, Vietnam. Good evening, Laos. Han had rediscovered the scooter. They border each other, for those of you who aren't geographically local. There.
What did you say there, friend? Having probed all the cupboards and drawers for a cloth and having little success, Sumer resorted to the hand Zamboni technique to clean the crumbed remains off his swollen workplace.
True story.
This is real, based on truth.
True story.
It dawned on Clay that his ball of belly button lint had gotten too big on the day that it demanded an umbrella and a subscription to InStyle magazine.
It was a combination of factors, namely words, that held Stu back from making books or other wonderful literary devices.
Jen always mixed up calligraphy and choreography. And one day it finally caught up with her, leaving a classroom full of paraplegics with crushing disappointment etched on their faces.
June of Pants, a month of... Take two. June of Pants, a month of sizes, was prematurely followed by a clearly outdated July of clay.
Though he was no fan of British culture, Paul realized that "Bob's your uncle" was the pinnacle of the English language, a phrase so good he had no interest in knowing what it meant. Bob's your uncle.
Four of the 5 children left the house, walked to the park, and played ball with the 5th.
Matt knew that when the next World War came, it would pit people who used the snooze button against those who considered it to be a sign of complete moral failure.
As he kissed his wife goodnight, he couldn't help but wonder if he cared enough about the toaster to ask for a divorce, so he settled on just grabbing another few inches of the comforter. We got some couples in the house.
What made Keith special was that he rejoiced in the things that you and I take for granted, like below-average monthly rainfall totals, and the fact that there's always a little more toothpaste left than you bargained for.
Romo and Maple, after countless hours of flirting and light touching, finally got it over with and opened their respective pockets to let their cell phones make out. 2007.
Thank you for coming.
James Switlowski, everybody. Matthew Molo Bain. Lifted his feeble hands began to shake, and before he could stop it, it fully blossomed into a full-scale amusement park.
Wes tipped the jar of pens into